Good morning, friends. Today I'll be trying a new recipe for the new year. This recipe is found on the King Arthur baking website, and it's for a sourdough pizza crust. If you want to find the recipe, you can just search King Arthur sourdough pizza, and it's probably the first thing that will pop up. I've tried this recipe now, and it is a keeper. Spoiler alert, the pizza was fantastic. This recipe only has 5 ingredients, and if you don't have a KitchenAid with a dough hook, it only requires about 7 minutes of kneading, which is nothing. And this recipe is basically a sourdough recipe with a little help with some instant yeast. Recently, I've been paying more attention to the ingredient labels on baked goods and just all things in general. And let me tell you, I'm not a huge fan of all the additives they have been putting into the ingredients that we buy in everyday items. I've been noticing the ingredients label has been getting a mile long. More and more every day we see ingredients that are harder to pronounce. We see a bunch of preservatives, shelf stabilizers, and dough conditioners in baked goods. The problem is companies that make these products are only there to make a profit. They're not there to help your health. There are companies that do make healthy alternatives, but the healthier you want to get with a product, the more expensive it's probably going to cost you. And the extra additive ingredients, they are there to help extend the shelf life of products, which then you have to add other additives to either make it softer or make it tastier, like monosodium glutamate. And in the end, you do have what was once a healthy product that has turned into a not so healthy product. What really got me thinking about this whole additives and ingredients list was one day Alec bought a loaf of bread that was sourdough, and there was like 15 or 20 different ingredients in it, and there was dough conditioner, which I don't have a problem with dough conditioner. I just didn't like the fact that there was that many ingredients and something that typically only takes about 6 ingredients, probably max. And then we went later on to a farmer's market and we picked up a sourdough bread, and it had, like I said, like this 5-6 ingredients, and they wanted $12 for one loaf. That's when it clicked. That's when I knew that I wanted to do sourdough, because it is my favorite type of bread, and we shouldn't have to look at ingredients or pay a ton of money for something that is essentially only 5 ingredients. And they're base ingredients. Like, you should have them in the pantry. You have salt, you have flour, you have water, and that's it. Depending on what type of loaf you want to make, you just interchange different flours, and boom, you have a sourdough. I want to start eating healthier, cleaner, and just all around being more active. I also want to prioritize growing more vegetables. This year we have about 40 different seeds that I want to germinate and plant for the spring. That way we can harvest and potentially preserve all these things that we would typically buy at the store. The internet is saying that we should be germinating in January for the zone that we live in. And we know a farmer, and he says it's still too early unless you have grow lights, which we don't. And I don't think that's a necessary expense to germinate seeds. I think that where we live, we have a long enough growing season that we would potentially be able to harvest enough food and not have to worry about sinking money into grow lights, when I think that we should be getting more supplies for canning. Let me know what you will be planning to grow this season. I was planning on doing a unboxing of all the seeds that we ordered and some of the seeds that we have that we are planning to plant this year. Comment down below and tell me what you're growing. This recipe was super simple and I did enjoy making it. Basically, you do the dough, and before you put the cheese on, you bake the crust a little bit. That way it gets crispy. I know that pizza isn't really considered a health food, but just taking one step and making your own pizza at home, I feel is a heck of a lot healthier than if you were to go to the grocery store or a chain and pick up a pizza there. The next time you have pizza, I challenge you to make your own. In fact, it's a fun activity if you have kids or friends over and everyone makes their own little personal pizza from the dough that you created, and they can personalize it to what ingredients they want on top. And if you're not a fan of pizza or you cannot fit pizza into your diet, then try making something different. There's tons of recipes for sandwich bread. You don't have to use a sourdough starter. You can start baking with some instant yeast and try that out. Or even look up how to do yogurt at home. It's pretty simple and better than the store. Normally, when you buy a little tiny cup of yogurt, you're getting like a half a cup of yogurt for $1.50, $2, depending on what brand and what flavors. If you made it at home, you can buy a gallon of milk depending on where you are. Roughly an estimate would be about $5 for a gallon. So take those little tiny cups. Say you get 3 of them. You're only getting a cup and a half of yogurt. If you buy a gallon of milk, you will yield 1 gallon of yogurt. So it's actually really beneficial for your wallet. We had our movie night this last Sunday and we did tacos, but we didn't have tortillas and I didn't want to make them from scratch, so Alec picked them up from the store. Tortillas only need flour, water, and a leavening agent, and salt, and oil if your diet permits that. There were 15 ingredients on this package, and the thing that caught my eye was that it had palm oil in it. And I'm not trying to scare or make an ingredient look evil, but palm oil is high in saturated fats. And on top of that, they have cleared rainforest to make room for this palm so they can produce it, and it's killing off habitats for endangered species. I'm not trying to dissuade you from eating palm oil. I'm just here to give you some entertainment and some knowledge, and you can research it on your own. If you want to cut that out, then just start baking at home and put in the oils that you want. If you want olive oil, if you want butter, then do that. But at least then you control your own ingredients for your family. Going forward, I will be more observant into what the ingredients are into these baked goods besides bread, because they sneak things in and you don't realize it until you're sitting there and you're like, oh, let me read the ingredient label. And then you find out what they are actually putting in the foods. And they're there to make money. They're not there to keep you healthy. So if you have the time to create something from scratch, even if it's a project you do once, it's going to be healthier and a heck of a lot tastier than what you find on store shelves. So you can see that I'm cutting up the pizza now. I followed the instructions except for putting oil on the dough when I was forming the crust. I found it easier to form it with just flour. The next time I do it, I'll be putting oil and garlic on the crust before I bake it, so it comes out even more delicious. What side is pepper? What about you? It's all pepperoni. This has a little bit of green chilies on it, but it's all pepperoni and olives. Which one's that? Right there and right there.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
That's chili. This is chili and pepperoni.
Holy moly.
It's okay, we have a new couch. You can just wipe your face. Just wipe your face all over it.
With my Cheetos.
The pizza was enjoyed by all, and we had a little bit of leftovers for the next day. We were invited for a New Year's Eve brunch at the Boathouse, and this is one of our favorite places to go. It's located in Rockets Landing, which is near Richmond, and it's right on the James River. So in the spring and summertime, there's a ton of people kayaking and running the trail and just enjoying life. They have a fabulous Bloody Mary, and their Eggs Benedict is the best in town that I've had thus far.
You are.
I love
By association, after 6 months,
Yeah.
it grows on you like a fungus or mold.
So Mark has to make you this make.
The lighting is good today.
I don't want it.
I know what it looks like. After a pizza and Eggs Benedict, it doesn't look like I'm trying to be on a health journey, but I am. And this is after we got back. I walked the dogs 2 miles. My plan was to do the 75 Hard Live Hard program on January 7th after the catering for the wedding that we did, but I ended up getting sick the next week, and we had an Arctic blast come through. So I wanted to heal up and not be sick when I started the program. So that's what I did. I just waited until I was better, and then I started it on January 18th. If you made it to the end, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. No.